Hey everyone, Kimberly Sulfridge here with the Kids Money Project. I hope you're having a great day today. I am here with Paula Weiss of CNS Insurance. How are you doing today, Paula?
I'm doing fantastic. It is Wednesday, hump day. So
Yes,
happy hump day to you.
right. Well, we are here in Welcome to Mommies and Money, of course, and we are going to talk about why it is important to pay yourself first. Now, we know that's a term that everybody hears, but we kind of got to talking about it and thought, I wonder, people hear this but think, what exactly is that supposed to mean? So we thought we'd just have a little conversation about it. So we
Well, I didn't hook in. So
oh, that's why you're being so quiet over there.
Trying to fix myself so I wouldn't be echoing in everybody's ears. I apologize. Hi.
No problem.
Yes, and why we need to pay ourselves first. Yes.
Yes. So what does that actually mean? I mean, that sounds great and all, but what does it actually mean to pay yourself first? So essentially, it is just the way of automatically setting up contributions into uh, an account, whether it be retirement account, but an account for you set up for, and I think of it as retirement account because that's why I'm paying myself. I want to have money when I'm older and don't want to be working. But it's about paying yourself first, where I think a lot of people, they get their paychecks and things like that, and they spend their money. So they pay all their utilities and they pay their
Mhm.
house payment and they pay all these bills first. And then what's left over is
Right.
what may find its way into savings and things like that. And it should actually be exactly the opposite. You
Yeah.
should take your money out first.
Reverse budgeting. But
Yes.
there's even another way to look at this as is there is a value and you put yourself at the bottom of the list when you don't go ahead and start investing in yourself. That's the best interest you can get when you go ahead and you invest in yourself. So financially, um, we're going to kind of discuss briefly how you can do it and why you do it and where you do it, but kind of put the value. I'll go back and say you are the flight attendant who's putting the oxygen mask on herself before she puts it, and then you put it on yourself before you help your kids. If you are not financially secure, if you don't understand the power of savings, if you don't understand the next step, if we can't help you understand how can we help you help your children, your grandchildren, pardon me, grandchildren, your godchildren, anybody around you, or the ladies that you're affiliated with that don't know that sometimes that conversation comes out. So we're hoping we'll help you learn how to value yourself first, put yourself first on the budget, and then have the rest of the dollars to pay for the important bills and the necessities.
Right. Well, and I think that may be where a lot of people may get themselves in trouble at times because they're actually overspending what they need to be spending. Maybe they've bought a larger house and their house payment's quite a bit more expensive because they weren't taking that money out that's paying themselves first. And so yeah, if you don't take it out, if it's sitting there, then you think you've got it there to spend. And you know what? We will spend it.
Yeah,
We
don't put it in your checking account. It's there. And I don't know how many people even pay attention to their checking account anymore. Between a
Yeah.
debit card and using your credit card for everything, you don't look at that till you go to write the check to pay the credit card as to where you actually even stand in your budget. So
Right.
a different mindset, but it's all about making yourself, you the priority,
Mhm.
and you're the one that's responsible for it, and you're the one that makes the decision of how much needs to go into your discretionary. And Kimberly and I were talking about this. I'm thinking start with a savings account and just start building there. And you'll be excited just to see that the amount, even if it's not compounding well, which we don't keep that there a long time. We want you to see how, if you give up just a few things and you put yourself first, how that makes a difference
Mhm.
in your bank book.
Absolutely. And in starting this as soon as possible, because obviously the earlier you start with this, the more time your money actually has to work for you and the less you actually have to put away that way. And if you're not starting until you're in your 40s or 50s, you're going to have a little bit of time to make up. And so yes, you will need to put in more money at that point to be able to reach that goal that you're going to need.
Right.
And so start early. Whether very small amounts can add up in a very big way given a time factor, which we
Right.
talk about compounding interest a lot, and
All the time.
I'm not going to go into it a lot here because I could spend the next hour talking to you about that, probably more actually.
Mhm.
And but it's a very powerful growth strategy. And so it's a great one to do, but you
Mhm.
do have to get started. And
Right.
sometimes getting started is literally just taking that money out and getting it put away into an account that you're not looking to spend money out of. And we talk about emergency funds. Emergency funds are something so vital, especially look at the year we just had.
Right.
So many people needed their emergency fund, or like here us in Texas right now with our winter storm. If we
Mhm.
didn't tap into it in the middle of COVID, I guarantee a lot are doing it right now.
Right.
And those emergency funds there are there for a reason. And so you've got to make sure that that is funded so you have that ability to be able to help yourself and not pull that credit card out to start racking up money and going compound interest the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just say, I can be that little devil, an angel sitting on your shoulder when you look at the money and you say, oh, wow, I've got $1,000 or 1,500. I really need those new shoes. Oh, I saw a kick butt purse. The answer is no. It's better there. It doesn't need to be on your feet. It doesn't need to be on your wrist. It just doesn't. It's better in the bank growing for you. So God forbid your water heater breaks or something happens, or better yet, that you're planning for your future.
Mhm.
No X amount of dollars will stay there, and then you'll continue growing. And if you need it for an emergency, it's there, but you need to rebuild it and you just need to keep going. And I think it's just like anything else, the momentum, once we see it, it makes so much difference in the world to say, oh my God, look at what I've achieved and
Mhm.
look how much more I can do. So I'm going to tell you, kick out Starbucks. No, I don't want you to go cold turkey. I don't want you to do that, but think about some of the things that you do just out of habit that you never realize what it costs you because you're not exchanging dollars. You swipe your card, you've got a coupon, you don't see that 5 or 6, whatever that dollar is. So even if you say, okay, I can give up my coffee fetish, Jones, for 3 days out of the week and put it away. And the next week. And before you know it, that could be $100 just in a month, just doing that little
Mhm.
um, giving up or deferring a need.
Well, and it's about making a choice. So you prioritize what you want in your life. And there may be a couple people out there that their priority is a Starbucks or whatever their little thing is that they have to have, which I mean, we all have our little things that are just our favorites or whatever. And it's not about having to give it up necessarily, but look at what you're actually doing and put it in line with your entire plan, your
Right.
entire financial plan in your future and what you're wanting for it. One, see where it racks up. If that's something that's really high on your priority list, then you have an ability to make room for it. There's going to be other things that may need to give or whatever, or maybe you go get a job at Starbucks. I don't know what kind of discounts they give you, but
I don't
and
know.
I'm picking on Starbucks. I don't even drink
Whomever,
coffee.
whatever
Right.
coffee.
Well, and
Yeah,
I don't even drink coffee. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Starbucks. I really don't mean to be like picking on you. I get it. There's a lot of people that cannot live without their Starbucks, but put it in line with your entire plan and, prioritize where it should be. You have, your retirement obviously is
Mhm.
something that's sitting out there. And yes, it is a long way away, more than likely, but you'd be amazed at how fast that time goes. And if you're not preparing for it, you're losing that time for building up to it. So just put it in perspective with it and figure it out from there. And like I said, if it's a priority, make it a priority in there and figure out how it works for you along with all your other priorities.
But if you don't make you number one priority, everything, if you're not the foundation
Mhm.
and you haven't established your priorities, your foundation is going to crumble. You're
Yes.
not going to get to where you need to be. So you need to make the commitment, and whether it be for this or wherever you think your monies or your retirement needs to go. And I'll say this before Kimberly can say it, because you can't borrow for retirement, ladies. It doesn't work that way. You can
Yes.
borrow for college and vacations and to buy a house and buy a car. But I haven't seen anybody that's willing to, fund my retirement.
Mhm.
So
Eh, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
that was going to, I mean, it's that simple.
Mhm.
In with your kids, and granted, things may be different as our kids are getting older and going to school. Schools are changing. Priorities are changing. A lot of the newer, bigger tech companies are teaching they don't want them to have a college degree. They want to train them. So just know that there are other ways for a child to have their education other than on your dime.
Yes.
And I,
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, I'm not a big proponent of student loans just because now I am okay with student loans over you giving up your retirement. I will say that because
Mhm.
like she said before, you you can borrow for student loans, but you cannot borrow for your retirement. I have not met any bank yet that's going to give you money for you to go do, vacation or sit at home or do whatever. They're just not going to do it. And so you have options in these other areas,
Yeah,
not even necessarily that we're suggesting you take money out for those, because there are other ways to do those. But
correct.
that's it. There are other ways to take care of those where your retirement, once you're there, you are there. And if
And you're
you,
there.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
And if you don't have it funded, you're going to have to do something like take a job or
Yeah.
something that's going to subsidize that. And I I don't want to have to be in that position. So I'm going to make choices now that will prevent me from having to make that choice at that
Right.
time.
And what you can do is, so it doesn't land in your checking account, you can set it up either through a financial source or with your bank, or even set up with your bank if you just want it into a savings account to take it out of your check. And your most payroll departments will allow you to do that. And you don't even see it, so you don't get to spend it. It's not sitting available to you, it's tucked away in your back pocket. And
Absolutely.
I think that would be a good place to start. And I have a feeling when you start doing that, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more empowered, which will allow you to make other positive choices for your financial future, for your retirement, for your family.
Mhm.
So we have some other topics we're going to, we had a lot of topics we were going to include in this conversation, but we could have been here an hour and we didn't want to do that to you. So next time we're going to talk about 401ks and how to make that work, how to use that to a full benefit if you've
And
got
it's a
that.
great way to pay yourself first.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And what else we were going to talk about? There was another one.
Well, I think we were going to go into a little more detail on like the college and stuff like that,
Yeah.
why it's more important to do certain things.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've got a list of topics. The two of us can get going and we can go for hours. So we
Yeah.
don't want to do that to you.
Well, I'll
But
throw it out. Plant the degree that you want your kids to get, that it actually will pay for their college.
right.
Make sure it's something that they can live on and not something that they look at the bill and say, you can't get a job, or will never, you get paid 30,000 and you've got a $200,000 as student loan. So that will be on another topic.
But yeah, so one thing we'll kind of leave you with this is um again, we've talked about budgets and all this kind of stuff, but do you have that plan? Do you have what your priorities are for your finances? And if you don't, it's time to get one started, because if you don't know what you're saving for, if you don't know where you're going, then it's kind of hard to get there. It's just kind of tossing it up and hoping, and we
Mhm.
know that doesn't often work out very well in our
No,
favor. So
not at all.
so maybe before you do that, maybe just sit down, pull out your credit card statements, pull out your bank statements, those ATM statements, all that stuff, wherever you're spending your money from, pull them out
Mhm.
and really analyze them. Maybe add up how much money you're spending on your Starbucks, how much money you're spending on going out to eat, how much money you're spending. Ladies, I know we love our shoes and our handbags. How much are you spending on these things, and how many handbags do we really need?
Right.
Now, I get it. I'm not so much the shoe person, but I'm a handbag person. So I get it. But we don't need 50, 60 of them.
Mhm. Right.
So again, it's about making the choice where our priorities lie. So go pull those things out and kind of get a good analysis of it and see where you're doing. You might surprise yourself on where you're spending your money. And
Yeah.
sometimes a little wake up call like that's a good thing. And
Yeah.
you
Yes.
can kind of take it from there at that point, but you can start putting those priorities together, and And you'd be amazed at where you can find money in your budget that you didn't actually realize you even had.
Right. Absolutely. So now you've got your chore, your homework for the week. Share with us if you have any questions or it made you got an ah moment when you went ahead and pulled out your budget. But think about doing a reverse budget and pencil, no, not penciling, pen yourself first
Yes.
to go ahead and make sure that you put some money away for yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, because you may need to adjust your budgeting a little bit. You may need to adjust what you're doing, where you're spending, or if you don't want to adjust some of those things, it may be time to look at a second job or someplace where you can bring in the extra money if you don't want to give those things up. I mean, there's any number of ways to make those things happen. So, but you do need to know. So we'll leave
Absolutely.
you with that today. We'll be
Yes.
back next week.
Have a wonderful week and weekend. Yes.
Yes.
We fall back. No, we jump. Isn't it daily?
Where are we? Spring forward.
We spring
So
forward.
we lose an hour.
Yes. So get all the sleep you can have before Sunday.
Yes. So everybody, well, y'all have a great weekend or a great week and weekend, and we'll see you here next week.
Bye bye now.
Bye-bye.